I've been asked if I'd model a Monopoly board with the game pieces, and I've thought of this before, and I think that's what I want to do here. So I'm going to delete everything and switch over to cycles. And I'm still in 2.79, and this might be the last project I do in 2.79. I do have 2.8, I'm just not that comfortable with it to do stuff on video. So here's what we're going to do. Top view, Shift A, mesh, I'm going to add a plane, and I'm going to S2 that, scale it to twice. Go into edit mode and hit U, project from view. Split my screen here, T and T, and go over to the UV image editor. Now what I need is an image of the board, which I do have. So just search for one on the internet, and this one looks pretty good. I'll try to link that. Okay, so there it is. Okay, and now what we're going to do is we need to go to the node editor and give it a new material. And I'm just going to leave the default nodes like that. And I'm going to take this one, Shift D, copy it over, and Shift S to switch it to the image texture. Find my Monopoly board and plug it in. Switch to material view. And we have a Monopoly board. It may not be the most perfect image. I don't know, it's got these lines here. I don't know if that's supposed to be there or not, but anyhow. Close that up for now. So I'm going to Shift A and bring down another plane, and I'll go S2 that for now. And I think I'll go into wireframe. And I don't see my Monopoly board, so that didn't help very much. So I'm just going to scale this out a little bit, like that, and bring it under actually. I'll go back into material view, that was why. Let's see if it looks relatively even. Okay, yeah, it does. So I'm going to go into edit mode, and I'm just going to give it just a little bit of thickness. I'll go back into solid view. Okay, I'm going to make sure that this is, the polys are flipped. And I'm going to try just bevel. I'm going to go for 2 and just lower it down a little bit. Okay, I can work on the placement of all that stuff later. Let's get rid of the grid floor for now. Actually, we'll go ahead and just do this. We'll give it a dark color. And imagine that's roughly our board. If I was to bring in an area light above it and a camera, lock camera to view and look through it. So far. Okay, so that's not how my lighting would be, but you can see I've got a board, I've got that there. So at least I can see what I'm doing. Okay, cool. Now I'm going to go to another layer, get out of camera view, And I'm going to work on my first game piece, which is going to be a microphone. I'll show you how I'm going to do this. I'm going to go to front view, and I'm going to go Shift A, and I'm going to bring in a mesh cube, and switch over to solid. I'm going to leave it at that size for now, and the subdivision surface of 2. Go into edit mode. No, I'm not going to go into edit mode. I'm going to apply that, and then I'll go into edit mode and wireframe. I'm going to box select all this bottom, Shift D, and I'm going to bring it down. We're going to use that later. I'm going to go P, separate it by selection, so it's a new object of its own. T, I'm going to set the origin of geometry on that. Come back into this guy here. And what I want to do here is I want to box select all this bottom stuff and delete those vertices. Now, before I go any further, I'm going to Shift Alt and click that edge. I'm going to be using that. So I'm going to Shift D and P to break it out. Take that and hide it. So I've got that edge. The geometry. I'm just going to move it up a little bit out of the way. Alt H, bring that back. Okay, so this is what I got. This piece, and I've got that edge, and I got that bottom stuff. Okay, so for this guy, from front view, I'm going to be making holes here. I want it a little bit longer, so I'm going to Shift Alt and click that edge all the way around. I'm going to extrude down a similar sort of distance to these squares, which aren't perfect, but okay, like that. I'm going to go one more time. Something like that. It doesn't have to be perfect. Select it all, and in face selection, I'm going to hit II twice. That'll inset twice, so separate them all into the little squares. Sort of. I'm going to push it a little bit to give some space. All right. I'm going to hit E and Alt S, and hold Shift. I'm going to push my mouse up. And that's going to inset them like that. I'm not going to delete them. I'm going to leave them there. Back into object mode. Subdivision surface of 2 and smoothing, and that's my microphone top. Okay, now this piece is going to make the bottom, as you can probably imagine. Bring it up a little, come in, and in edge selection, Shift Alt to click that edge, extrude up like this. Let's make the bottom part of the capsule, if that's what it's called. Before I lose that edge, though, I'm going to copy that, Shift D and P, break it out, so I can reuse that later. Set the origin of geometry. I'm just going to pull it down here a little ways. And now that I'm going to actually scale out nice and big, and then I can work on that later. Now this piece, go into edit mode, and I'm actually going to scale that. I'm going to go Alt S, hold Shift, pull out like that. A little bit wider than this. I'm going to grab this edge, E and S, and I'm going to pull it in so it's underneath. Okay. Now I got this piece. I'm going to use it down here after as well. So I want to put a subdivision surface on this. I can just select that and then select this and go Control L, modifiers, get the same one, and then I'm going to add smoothing. Now this has to get some work because it's a little bit warped. So edit mode and then Control R and just slide an edge loop up here. Alright, so I'm not worried about this edge because I'm going to use this now, and that's going to create a little ring. But before I do that, I'll actually come back to this piece. I'm going to go into edit mode and pull it down a little ways so it kind of fits. And in vertex selection, I can grab that point and that point, E to extrude, I'm going to pull it down under there. And this is going to attach to the ring there, as you'll see. Okay, I'm going to go to side view. And I'm going to give this some width E. I'm going to pull out maybe about that much. Take it, and I still have my 3D cursor there, so I'm going to use that, and I'm going to roughly position that in the middle. With it selected, Control N to flip polys. E and Alt S, and either pull down or pull in. I think I'll let's go out. Let's go out so I can see it better, the thickness that I want. Something like that. Edge selection. I can get rid of these faces first. Let's do that. Let's select that face, get rid of it. Select this face and get rid of it. Back into edge selection, Shift Alt and click all these edges here. And I'm going to hit Control B to bevel, Control B, pull. Don't make them overlap, just go about like that. And it's debatable if I want to put one here and just go S and pull it out to round it a bit. Okay, front view. Let's pull this down a little ways like this, so it sort of looks like it attaches. Let's give a subdivision surface on that with that selected and click maybe this one, Shift Alt to click, Control L, modifiers, and then grab this one and hit smoothing. And this will have that effect. Let's make sure that's relatively centered. It looks pretty good. Now let's take this piece and bring it up. Select it, and I'm going to extrude downwards to give it some height, I guess. Nice big ring there. Select it all and flip the polys. And with that still selected, I'm going to hit E and Alt S, and I'm going to push in until it contacts the body. Flip the polys again, and Shift Alt to click that edge, and a big bevel for that guy, like that. Another one right in the middle, and scale, pull out, make it a bit more circular. Okay, subdivision on that, so select it, Shift Alt and click that, Control L, modifiers, select it again, and smooth. Let's pull this up so it's over that rim there. You can try pulling it up a little bit more and see what it's like right there. Cool. All right, take that. I'll set the origin of geometry. We're going to use that again. Shift D. Bring it down a little ways to about there. Okay, now that we have that piece, we can try to reuse this, or we can just grab a piece of it, which might be better. That piece right there is still selected, and if it wasn't, I could grab that. I just want a circular piece. Let's try this. Shift D, let's rotate it down to the bottom there, or let's rotate Y 180, bring it down to do this kind of thing. I want some space here. Go into vertex and grab these guys, and I'm going to pull them up to about the middle of that. Now let's make this its own object. Control L, P to separate it out. And there it is. Origin of geometry. Go in, and I think I need to scale this out a little bit. Well, no, maybe I don't actually. All right, side view. Let's give it some thickness. I might make it a bit thicker than that. I'm not sure. Yeah, I think I will. Control N, flip polys. There is a subdivision surface on it right now. Now, the 3D cursor is still there, but that's fine. Let's take it, E, or select it, E and Alt S, and we'll come out. Make a nice big thick one like that. Okay, now I'm going to add an edge loop up here, and one up here. Hit smoothing. That's looking pretty good. Bring it up a little bit more. Okay, come back into this guy and select these 4 bottom faces and hit I to inset. Pull in a little ways. Loop tools, circle, scale it maybe a bit, and let's go E and bring it right down into there. Now, if that's a little bit wide, I want it to fit in that. I can come back, and in wireframe, I'll select these. And I'll also SZ0 to flatten them. I'm going to come back up 1, and I'm going to scale Shift Z a little bit, and we can look at whether or not it fits. I'm going to bring an edge loop up here, and I'm going to bring an edge loop down there. That looks fine. because we're going to have a piece that goes over there. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to grab this edge, which is should be a circle, pretty much a circle. Although if we want a better circle, it might be nicer to take an edge like that, Shift D, and bring it down. And just use that. Just break it out. With it selected, set the origin of geometry, and that's what we're going to use. Let's go into edit mode, select it, and vertex. We've got a lot of vertices there, so that's good. E, we'll extrude it up like this. Let's flip the polys. Shift Alt and click that edge. E and S, we'll bring it in a nice ways, and then mesh, faces, grid fill, that'll close that off. Before we do any more, let's take this, Shift D, copy it, and just pull it out, break it out. We're going to use that for something else. Let's go back to this guy, and we will E and S, let's bring it in, make a little stand. E, we'll bring it down, and then E and S will come out, maybe about the width of the microphone. Come down like that, E and bring it down, and see maybe if that's a big enough base to hold that. Let's see. Let's Shift Alt and click that edge and Control B, bevel like that. One segment by rolling your mouse up, and then put an edge loop in here, maybe an edge loop here. We're going to grab these two edges right there. We're going to bevel now, Control B, just pull, but we're not going to add any segments. We'll keep it round. Let's hit smoothing, and let's move this up so it looks relatively centered on this piece. If you don't think that base would hold up the microphone, which in some ways doesn't look like it will, we'll go into wireframe and we'll box select this, and we'll just go S. Make it a bit wider. You can pull it down if you want. So you have that. And this guy, let's set the origin of geometry and scale it. I'm going to fill in the other side. So let's hit E and S, pull it in a ways, and then mesh, faces, grid fill. I'm just leaving the defaults. I'll do the same thing though with those edges. And bevel, just like that. Good enough. Let's hit smoothing. Let's rotate Y 90. And from the side, I'm going to slide it up to there, and we're going to need to scale it down and pull it in. Sometimes this piece is a bit longer, so if you wanted to lengthen it, you could just grab that and pull it up. Sometimes that's a bit bigger, and it's up to you. I'm going to select this and Shift S, cursor to select it. It's nice and central, so I can grab this piece now and mirror and use the eyedropper and click that, and we'll get one on the other side as well. I might want to scale this in the X a little bit and push it in, and then I can just take this and push it in as well. That's it. That is it. Okay, it's a stylized microphone, but it looks like a microphone, so people will know what it is. Okay, I'm gonna take that. Now there's subdivision surfaces on everything, and they're all 2. It's rather a hefty piece. I think I could probably join everything. No, not that. I'd have to put on apply the mirrors. Any mirror I've got. Is that the only mirror I had? Yeah, I now have one piece, and I can take that and I can move that back to the board, and we'll see that it is huge, so we'll scale it down. Zoom right in. Let's look in material view so we can see. See where my camera is. Okay. down and see if we like the size of that. Okay, not too bad. We'll call materials later.